It's on. We have answered. Kalabariye. Kalabariye. Kalabanama Tomiemi mo. I am very honored. I'm very humbled. I'm very happy to be your daughter, to be an Ijaw daughter. Everybody has a story in Ijaw land. I always ask myself, why was I born outside of Ijaw nation by an Ijaw father and a British mother? And why then was I relocated to the creeks and the kingdom of Kalabari at the age of 4? I realize now that it's because of all of us, and I'm proud to be an Ijaw daughter. I've been given a topic that even the president and our governor has touched elaborately on. I forgot. May I please stand on the elaborate protocol that our governor has set? I want to very quickly and briefly share with you what I have penned down. Ijaw nation, our survival is not about anyone else but Ijaw people. Before us, that is yesterday, before us, our forefathers fought for our rights, our pride as a people. Our forefathers, such as King Koko of Nembe, King Jaja of Opobo, and so many, fought against the colonial British Empire for us and our descendants. All the people seated here today, these forefathers fought for you. They saw what we are going through today. It is therefore our responsibility to safeguard and improve on what we hold in our custody. We do them a great disfavor if we don't do better than them. Our descendants have a right to be ashamed of us if we fail. Before I go further, I owe every Ijaw man and woman that have stood in the front, besides and behind Rivers State, especially your kith and kin, since 2023, when Governor Siminalayi Fubara was sworn in. This indeed is what is known as Ijaw unity. I honor our late father and leader, Chief E.K. Clark, for leading from the front as usual, preempting our oppressors. The president of IYC, the president of INC, Professor Koba, as a body, I thank you. The people of Rivers State, thank you. We recognize what you have done for us. And anytime the survival of Rivers Ijaw people are mentioned, you will always be mentioned. Thank you very much. Ijaw Nation Congress is the only body that is set up to speak for Ijaw people in every place that Ijaw people are found. Any other political bodies that have been set up, especially in Rivers State, is speaking for themselves as Ijaw people. They are not speaking for Ijaw Nation. Whether Ijaws are, wherever Ijaws are, it is our right to identify, promote, and defend Ijaw. It is our responsibility to defend the Ijaw nation. Since independence of 1960, the disdain and plan to diminish the Ijaw people as a people in our creeks, our mangroves, our swamps, and our lands have been the systemic desires of some of our fellow Nigerians. I always recall what our great Ijaw son, late Oronto Douglas, used to say. He used to say, "We are Ijaws. We will not beg to be Nigerians because we are Ijaws." We were in our creeks, mangroves, swamps, and lands when the British, my mother's people, and others came with their greed, corruption, and oppression to us. Nobody can discover a people that already exists in their land before you came. Therefore, Ijaw people were not found. We are Ijaws. We have always been Ijaws, and we will continue to remain Ijaws. We have never been lost, so nobody can find us. Our heroes and heroines past did not die in vain for us to become slaves in a country and in a continent carved up by strangers. Adakaboro, Onaro, Nottingham Dick knew in 1966, when they took on the federal government of Nigeria, that it was their responsibility to take the risk they took by declaring Ijaw nation freedom. I believe they set an example with the conviction that the ones behind them then will continue and will free our people. Chief Harold Dababriye and all other heroes after Boro played their parts. Today we have one of them in the mortuary awaiting the burial of honor that is due him by the Ijaw nation. May Pa Clark's soul rest in peace. In the politics of Nigeria, since independence, we have been used by others to achieve their political supremacy. I ask myself, are we weak, shy, ignorant of who we are? By dishonoring their sacrifices and honoring people who look down on us, we dishonor ourselves. I want to call on our politicians who have left us down. Today, joy is gathered at a very critical moment in our history. Our governor is here. My sister Marie Bikake is here. There are some others that are representing us in Abuja, and I ask, where are they? Those are the ones that let us down. I boldly say this because it is true. When politicians and appointees get to any position, they, in our view, in my view, forget they are Ijaws and become apologetic of their Ijawness. If you are apologetic of your Ijawness, please tell me who you are. It was not far from this Ijaw worry that Ijaw Bayelsa youths, JTF, and a Bayelsa DPO were deployed to come and assault, intimidate, wound their brothers and sisters, wives, and mothers and fathers, of which I was one. We were not up to 50 in number on the 14th of February 1917 at Tombia roundabout. Our crime, we said no to ceding Bayelsa palms to Fulani headsmen. Today, Bayelsans can't farm on the small land we call ours. When politicians make mistakes, they should be big enough to admit that they have made mistakes. No politician can be bigger than the people they claim voted for them. Politicians are supposed to stand up for our rights, which includes ownership of our resources. For 30 years, there are a people who refuse to allow Shell and federal government touched their resources, yet they are still existing? Why must it be that Ijaws land must continue to be despoiled, looted, and raped because of the interests of other people? It's only Ijaws that can answer that question. What Ijaws of Rivers State are going through in Rivers State is just like what President Jonathan went through. The opposition was not because he was not good enough. He is the best president that we have, Nigeria have till today. The opposition was not because Fubara is not good enough in Rivers State. It is because he is an Ijaw man, and we must be bold to say so. The suspension of the governor and deputy governor of Rivers State is to create ways to access our resources. Our people are replaced daily with Ijaw people that are declared enemies' plans to use them against us. What strategy of Ijaw nation do we have in Niger Delta, in Bayelsa, in Nigeria, and what are Ijaws in diaspora's plan? I am a member of PANDEF in Rivers State and at national level, and was honored to be a delegate to meet President Tinubu, as at the time, it is in my opinion that the intrigues to start the process to suspend Governor Fubara was already concluded. Days after the suspension of Rivers State Governor, Deputy Governor, we continue to call on President that he should rethink the suspension, as there was no crisis in Rivers State to warrant the suspension of the governor and deputy governor of Rivers State. Hate speech is an offense worldwide. Hate speech by anyone, even by Ijaws, is a crime. This is why I suggest that moving forward, our people should stop with the empty ultimatums that demystify us, make us sound like empty drums, and belittle us. We have only 2 governors in our region, where we are in 6 states. In Rivers State, we are in 12 local government areas. In Niger Delta, we are the largest ethnic nationality, and yet we are told we are minority of minorities. What an insult. Hate speech, in simple terms, is a language or communication that attacks or discriminates against someone or group based on their identity, like race, religion, ethnicity, gender, or disability. Intent of hate speech is often to insult, to offend, or intimidate a person or group. It is also and can lead to discrimination, prejudice, even violence, and it undermines social inclusion and human rights. Rivers State Ijaws in the past 24 years have been bullied and denied our right to participate at the highest level of politics. And I must add, we are partly responsible, as our leaders took the route of live and let live and unity of Rivers State. If we were greedy, we would have kept the seat of governor, as PDP was brought to the Niger Delta by our late leaders like Alabo Graham Douglas, late Marshal Harry, who was assassinated on March the 5th in his home in Abuja in 2003. Chief Amina Sowore Dikibo, vice chairman of the South-South PDP, was assassinated on October the 22nd, 2004, by gunmen who ambushed him along Asaba-Agbo Road while he was on his way from Port Harcourt to Asaba for a PDP party meeting. Ijaws have sacrificed a lot. It is too much, and it is enough. We have lost great men, as our late Governor General DSP Alamesia. This remains one of the great losses of Ijaw nation. threats and verbal assault on Ijaw Nation. I want to ask lawyers in Ijaw Nation to tell us whether we do not have the right to go to court based on the assault that is being rained down on us by the former governor of Rivers State. When he was still the governor of Rivers State, our son, Farah Dagogo, bought a ticket to run for governor of our state, and he was declared wanted and eventually arrested. I tried to find a solution to speak with the governor, but he ignored me and never responded to me. It was during this time that the then Governor Wike in a church invoked thunder to fire Ijaw Nation through the INC and IYC positions over the arrest of Honorable Farah Dagogo. On the 17th of March 2027, the FCT minister, during his hate rage against the Ijaw Nation, continued to insult Ijaws from Abuja to Kalabari Kingdom to Abalama, asking us what can we do, who are we, asking what is Asawana. And yet, I recall a time when the then president of IYC on Boros Day, and I went along with them, where he happily and proudly, maybe he pretended, allowed the president to drape him in the Ijaw flag, and was shouting Asawana and giving him our support, Ijaw support, despite the fact that Kalabari sons, Okrika sons, all Ijaw sons in Rivers State wanted to be the governor, and yet he became the governor, and we supported him. He was draped with the Ijaw flag, and yet today he is asking, who are Ijaw people? What is Asawana? Asawana will tell him who he is. While Ijaws, with our God-given resources, can no doubt survive without their resources, and they know themselves, they cannot survive without the resources that comes from our creeks, our mangroves, our swamps, and our land. At this time, again, I will call for the consideration of a moratorium on all our resources in our land. Why? Because it is enough. What are we benefiting from what they are taking? 100%. And they give 13% to Bayelsa. And when they are sharing Bayelsa's resources to local government, Bayelsa is getting only 8 local government resources, and Kano, that does not produce anything that we share with, is getting 44% of what Bayelsa produces. Where is the justice in that? And how does that justify our desire to continue to give our resources to people who don't appreciate the sacrifices that we have made? Today and moving forward into tomorrow, we must, without any fear of any one person or group of persons, stand up, joining our hands and our hearts as proud Ijaw people, and in one voice, we say again and again, if we are not good enough for Nigeria, then our resources cannot and will not be good enough for Nigeria. Thank you very much.